Morning, everybody. My name is Fabian de Fabiani. For the students at the back, Mr. de Fabiani, hello, good to see you all here. Surprised seeing you here. My role here at Townley Grammar School is the Director of Character Education. And I'll talk a little bit more about the role, but actually what we do. But before that, I mean, it's really quite difficult following Anthony Selden, Nicky Morgan, Mr. Dehan, Executive Head Teacher, our amazing students. It is actually quite a tough gig, so please do bear with me. Just to give you some context as to how we organised this event. I mean, this event is a result of Optimism. Around last September, I had a meeting with Mr. Dehan, Mrs. Pandya, and we were thinking, wouldn't it be great to have an event where we could get students, academics, publishers, teachers, leaders, parents, all together in a room. And then we thought, who could we get to speak? So, being optimistic, I thought, Sir Anthony Selden. I did read your books when I was at university studying politics, so I am slightly intimidated following you up here. So I thought, Anthony Selden, fantastic. Then I thought, who, and this is not a political point, but who has been an education secretary who's actually inspired me and has actually enabled for many of these character traits to be developed amongst young people? Nicky Morgan. My only issue is that I've created a rod for my own back, because next year, who do I get? I can't have the same speakers. I'll have to go for like Obama, who's got a bit of time in his hands, and maybe even the current US president will have some time in his hands in a year's time, so we could... Anyhow, so character education, optimism. What is optimism? Actually, it's really important that we understand today the world is in the best place it has been since its existence. It might not be something that is said very often. It might not be something that you read in newspapers or you read online. But actually, when we look at the statistics, you can see that the world today is actually fundamentally in a good place. And at this point, I'm going to ask one of my IR students, who I'm really putting on the spot. So we're testing a character. Ruby, would you just stand up very quickly? Ruby has 3 statistics that will prove that the world today is actually in a better position than it was in its history. Ruby, you're going to have to say it really loudly.
Statistics prove that massive gains have been made in reducing extreme poverty. In 1950, over 75% of the population lived in extreme poverty. Now that has been reduced to only 10%. Education. In the last century, education has changed dramatically. Only a few people were educated, yet now 8 out of 10 people are now literate. 3. Democracy. In the 19th century, almost everyone lived in an autocratically ruled country. Now, over half the global population live in a democracy.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you. And it is important to note that optimism isn't a blind sentiment. As our students and previous speakers have said, optimism, the importance is that we have intelligent optimism. There is a vacuum. We live in a very uncertain world. Politically, socially, economically, uncertainty rules. But the cynics would want us to think that within that uncertainty, we are victims. We're buffeted by world events. Intelligent optimism should empower us to believe that in that uncertain world, we can mould a future. And that is universal. Whether it is a student at a top-performing school in the UK, or, as Sir Anthony was mentioning, young people living in very difficult lives, actually, we do have that innate human ability. We are innately resilient to try and mould our own path. That leads on to character education. Why is character education important in schools? Character education can be defined and is defined in many ways. Many schools can adopt a character approach in different ways. What we do here at Townley Grammar School is we focus on the empowerment. We focus on the idea that every young person who walks through our doors, it's not enough that they perform excellently in exams. Yes, that will be useful, but a doctor needs a good bedside manner. There is no point someone obtaining fantastic qualifications, but at the end of it, they cannot effectively convince someone to employ them or effectively bring about change. So our sense of character education is one that empowers. Behind me, we have our character values. As Nicky was saying, it's incredibly important for schools to to not just speak the language of character, but to live character. For other teachers in here and head teachers in here, you cannot fake character. Please do not misinterpret character education to fit a certain fad for a couple of weeks, tick a box and expect that you are doing character. That is not true character education. And I hope that the students who, you've only had a small glimpse of our students, but the students who you've met and heard from today actually illustrate that here at Townley Grammar School, character education is the entire ethos of our school. Character education is education here at Townley Grammar School. So behind me I have some of our values: perseverance, resilience, compassion. There are two up there that when I do different CPD sessions and speak at different events that spring to mind. One's STEMpathy, which you'll see there at the bottom, and intellectual mobility. Now, STEMpathy, this is a term that I've been developing. I recently went to Silicon Valley and visited Google, Facebook, fantastic organizations. And what's intrinsic to their success is the idea that, yes, they have the technical know-how, but they have the character within their employees, that the human harnesses the technology. You leave the mundane to the machines, you give purpose to the people. That is what STEMpathy is about. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." Now we have machines that think far quicker than we do. We need to reaffirm our humanity. I love, therefore I am. I trust, therefore I am. I believe, therefore I am. I lead, therefore I am. This is fundamental to our vision of character education. Intellectual mobility. We talk a lot about social mobility, intellectual mobility. The idea that young people, such as Yasmin, as Grace, could stand up, not just stand up and talk and deliver a really fantastic presentation, but the substance behind it. There was clear, palpable substance there. So intellectual mobility is the fact that our students can learn the knowledge in the classroom, but then they apply it to wider life. And not just to wider life, they apply it to other people's lives, and they try and help other people. Feminism. We are a majority girls' school. We do have boys in the sixth form, but feminism is, again, widely defined. The way it's interpreted here, that there is no glass ceiling. Our students are young, powerful women who, when they grow up or when they leave education, will make a change in their own world. Whether that is a change in their world that has an impact on many other people or just on their own family setting, it doesn't matter. So character education is about empowering. It's about enabling. And I do want to share with you a clip. Now, we've seen some of our students, and this is a clip from 2 years ago. We have a Head Girls Day, which is very nice in terms we have our Year 13 Upper 6 students who leave, and they are joined in a final celebration assembly by Year 7s. Now, in terms of character and well-being, they go hand in hand. It's all well and good, as Nikki said, saying to someone, you need to be resilient and, get hold of yourself and to overcome mental health problems, but that doesn't happen. Character cannot solve those problems. Well-being is intrinsic to character education. They go hand in hand. And I think this clip will actually illustrate the power of well-being and character when they are combined.
As Gold Ties, one of our roles is to leave Townley with something that will make a difference. We chose something that meant a lot to us, and that was the prominent issue of mental health. A Year 11 student, Anna Gunstone, won the Jack Petrie Speak Out Challenge talking about mental health, and she has decided to use the prize money to pay for mental health workshops for students and staff to help improve understanding. Also, along with Miss Mitchell Treveni and other sixth form students, we have set up a group for those suffering with mental health illnesses, which has provided a safe place where you can talk to others in the same position. We are also exploring the possibility of the school having a therapy dog. But this isn't just our legacy, it means something personal to each one of us, and it also comes with a message. When I started at Townley, never in a million years did I ever imagine I'd be deputy head girl, because having literally just passed my 11 plus by 2 points, I didn't even believe that I deserved to be here. I assumed school would be solely about achieving the best grades, and I prepared myself to be disliked by my extremely intelligent peers, as I felt I was so stupid. Yet looking back now, I had really underestimated my own ability and what being at school is actually about. Because school is so much more than grades. It's the friends you meet who help you get through the hardest of times, the teachers who believe in you when you don't believe in yourself, and it's the family you never thought you could get from a school. It's only been in the last year that I've really understood this. Having been unwell, I've relied heavily upon Townley support. I've been shown nothing but acceptance and safety. I've been taught to find the strengths in my weaknesses and most importantly to never give up. And for this I'll be forever grateful. And so I'm going to leave you all with a request. Appreciate what you have rather than wishing for things you don't have. Don't get caught up in social media and forget to actually live. Never sell yourself short because you believe you don't deserve it. Never let that one moment define who you are, because you are worth so much more than just one moment. If a wall comes up in front of you, then knock it down. I will finish. If a wall comes up in front of you, then knock it down. Don't let it win and never give up. And never think you know someone by just looking at them. The last 7 years have been tough, but I've got friends I couldn't be without. And the things I have learned will genuinely last me for a lifetime. Appreciate every moment. Because although you may not realise it now, but it is the small things that will stay with you forever. Thank you.
I think that illustrates the power of character education, the power of character, the power of well-being. And talking directly to the students at the back, each and every one of you will have a challenge in your life. You may have, unfortunately, experienced challenges in your already short lives. You will experience others. But the key is keeping in mind the fact that you are intelligently optimistic, that you have the power within yourselves to mould events, not be buffeted by events, that you are the master of your own fate. That is something that is priceless. And as educators, it's something that we must never undervalue. The teaching profession can at times be quite negative and cynical. Issues of workload and I don't have time to do this. Actually, the very essence of education is this. And I think here at Townley we recognise that. For our guests, I'm sure you were doing fantastic work in your own schools, but it's just been a fantastic honour and opportunity to be able to talk and for us to remember that optimism, intelligent optimism, is a torch. We hold it, we carry it as educators in leadership roles and so on, but we must really look after it and cherish it and make sure that when we pass it on to young people, it is there intact, still burning. Thank you for listening.